Waelisoja Waebula Waebula Waelisoja Waebula Waebula We Solomone Solomone yo Solomone Solomone yo Waelisoja Waebula Waebula Waelisoja Waebula Waebula Solomone Solomone yo Solomone Solomone yo Waelisoja Waebula Waebula Waelisoja Waebula Waebula Solomone Solomone yo Solomone Solomone yo Waelisoja Waebula Waebula Waelisoja Waebula Waebula Amandla Ibambe 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 Iyo Esepamo Iyo Esepamo Sal Iyo Ibambe 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 Iyo Esepamo Iyo Ibambe 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 Iyo Esepamo Iyo Iyo yo, 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 yo. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, program directors. The minister in the presidency responsible for women, youth, and people with disabilities, Me Ngwane Maite Mashabane, the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, Unyambose Natim Tetwa, the Deputy Minister in the Presidency, Professor Hlengiwe Mkhize, the Deputy Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, Me Nokawe Mafu, the Director General in the Presidency, the MEC for Sports, Arts and Culture and Recreation, Mbali Hlophe, the leadership of the Gauteng provincial government that is with us here today, board members of the NYDA, the Chief Executive Officer of the NYDA, our councillor. We felt like Mandela was speaking to us from the grave. You know, when you lay a wreath there, it says that that site is unveiled by Nelson Mandela. And it felt like Mandela came from there to the podium. But it's interesting also, Minister, that that memorial site, it's written unveiled by Nelson Mandela. Other memorial sites, when you say unveiled by, yay, it's a big problem. But we're just raising it in passing. We're just raising it in passing. The executive directors, the deputy president of SAIC, the leadership of SAIC that is here, the leadership of various youth formations. We've also seen the former CEO of the NYDA, the first CEO, Mr. Stephen Ngobeni, who's with us here today. Ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends, it is at the height of apartheid struggle that Moses Kotane called on the youth to play a meaningful role in the liberation struggle when he said, and I quote, "At this hour of destiny, your country needs you. It is in your hands what you will make of it. A nation, a country that does not value its youth does not deserve its future." Close quote. This clarion call became the war cry for many young people across our motherland. At the forefront was the radical and militant Tsietsi Mashinini, Khotso Sitlhaolo, and many others. June month is a symbolic departure into the future and a painful memory that will forever be with us, especially as we gather here at the Hector Pieterson Memorial Park. Program directors, Youth Month commemorations must be an important reminder of the sacrifices and commitment of the generation of 1976. It is such gallantry that gave birth to the revolutionary student movement, the Congress of South African Students, which this year celebrate 40 years ever since its existence. Ephraim Mogale was the founding president of the Congress of South African Students, and we take this opportunity to salute the memory and the spirit of Ephraim Mogale. It is this organization that later awarded Imbogoto Siaparankwe, Umama Winnie Madikizela Mandela, the status of its lifetime honorary president. May her soul rest in peace. The National Youth Development Agency continues to preserve the history of the role of young people that was played in the struggle for freedom and democracy. Having established the Solomon Kalushi Mahlangu Scholarship Fund that has to date produced 500 graduates, we remain relentless in ensuring that the youth martyrs of our freedom are not forgotten. The head office of the NYDA has been named the Tsietsi Mashinini House, a place wherein aspirations and dreams of the youth are a key driver for the day-to-day work in advancing youth development. This year, we commemorate 40th anniversary since the brutal assassination of Solomon Kalushi Mahlangu. And we've seen that through the blood that nourished the tree that brought our freedom in this country, Solomon Mahlangu's name continues to live on through the NYDA, because it is the NYDA that said, when we went to the home of Solomon Mahlangu and we realized that that particular home is not befitting of the stature that Solomon Mahlangu stood for. Because in 1979, when it was unfashionable, Solomon Mahlangu was one of the youngest cadres of Umkhonto weSizwe who left the country, received military training, came back into the country, started organizing, but the police were on high alert to look for the young Solomon Mahlangu. So fearful was the apartheid regime, so fearful was the brutal apartheid regime of a young Solomon, that when they arrested him, they incarcerated him, put him in solitary confinement, Solomon Mahlangu had never fired a single bullet. When we sing this song, that Solomon Mahlangu, asithi owabulala amabhunu, uSolomon wabulawa amabhunu eAfrica. uSolomon, when he was there in solitary confinement, when they had sentenced him to hang him, they sentenced him to kill him, he stood there for 12 months. Every day, when they opened the door, he feels like this is the day where they are going to hang me. They did that for 12 months in order to mess up with his mentality, thinking that at some point Solomon Mahlangu will sell out. He was only 23 years old when they opened that door. When it was the day that they are going to take him to the gallows, when it was the day where they are going to finish his life. Now there's something significant about that day. The 6th of April is the day where Jan van Riebeeck and everybody else, the colonialists, landed into our country. So on the 6th of April, white people, they make a sacrifice in celebration of the day that they landed here. On that day, they wanted to make Solomon Mahlangu a sacrifice. They wanted to show the brutality of the white supremacy in this country. And they took Solomon Mahlangu out of solitary confinement. And he saw his mother. He saw his mother crying. The mother was saying, "Please let my son go. Please, my son did not do anything." Solomon stopped his mother and said to his mother, "Mama, don't cry. Don't cry in front of this one. If they kill me today, it will give birth to many Solomon Mahlangus. Tell my people that I love them. They must continue to fight. My blood will nourish the tree that will bear the fruits of democracy." He rose his fist and he said, "Aluta continua." Now, when they took him to the gallows, there's 52 steps. When I started, I said, they landed in 1652. Now, for you to be taken up, to be hanged, you had to go up 52 steps. When many saw those particular steps, when they knew that the first step that I'm taking the last step of my life, many of them retreated, many of them went back, many of them said we're willing to talk, many of them were willing to sell out the people that they were with in the struggle. Solomon Mahlangu went up the stairs in high spirits, and Solomon Mahlangu said, "My hanging will be the one that will liberate my people." When he got there, and they put the ropes there, and they were hanging him in the gallows, they put the ropes, you stand somewhere, and they put the rope on your neck, and they open something below you, and when you fall down, the rope actually breaks your spine, and you die instantly. But even when they opened and Solomon Mahlangu went in and the rope broke his spine, when they touched his pulse, they realized that not even a rope could take down Solomon Mahlangu. It is to Solomon Mahlangu that today we want to say to South Africa that the youth of this country owes such great gratitude, owes such great respect to the fallen martyrs of our country. They tell us today, they ask us when we talk to the media, they say, is there anything to celebrate? You are saying 25 years celebrating youth activism, is there anything to celebrate? And we are saying yes. The first thing that we celebrate, the first thing that we cherish, the first thing that we are proud of is that as black people, for the first time, we can walk with pride on the streets. As black people, we can vote for a government of our choice. As black people, so much pride that we have, that namhlanje sikwazi nokushela intombi yomlungu, uyakwazi nokumbiza uthi Mariki, come here, I want to speak to you. This is the dignity that has been restored to the black people of this country. So is there anything to celebrate? Of course, there's a lot to celebrate. Because when this generation of 1976 went into the streets, they were fighting against the imposition of Africans as a medium of instruction. Not only were they fighting that, they were also fighting the continued sustenance of apartheid using education. They use textbooks. They tell us that everything that is black is evil. Everything that is black is bad. Everything that is black is criminal. Everything that is white is pure. Everything that is white is righteous. We grow up thinking that our skin color is a sin for us to be born. They wanted to put that through education. And the generation of 1976 said that it is not going to be us who are going to stand up. If it means we must be killed, so be it. Today, children of the poor get education for free from grade 1 when you enter. In fact, when you are still in your mother's womb, if you were born post 1994, if you are 25 years old today, you are 23 years old today, the government of today started looking after you when you are still in your mother's womb. Because when your mother is pregnant, is able to access a medical facility of this particular government, they are able to get supplements and vitamins and pills that will save you from the stomach. And many of us know that before you are born, your father ran away. So long as you are sebenza, you must call Tatako, you must call Kumbulekaya. This government has been a loyal father from day one. This is one government that you don't have to call Tatako, you don't have to call Kumbulekaya, because when you were born, they said to your mother, because that one ran away, here's a grant for you to be able to raise this child. Here's a grant for you so that this child does not go to bed hungry. Not only does it stop there, when you take your first steps, when you go into grade 1, this government says study for free. This government says, here's school nutrition for you. This government says, here's scholar transport system for you if you are staying in the rural areas. When you go to grade 8, this government says to you, you can study in high school for free. You can study and get school nutrition for free. When you finish matric, there was a small problem, but we have resolved it in the last few years because there was a small lacuna between matric and first year of study. But this very government said, when you finish matric, you must go straight to a university of your choice. Those who come from families that earn 350,000 and below, which constitute 81% of the students in this country, you study for free. And we want to say, Minister, this free education must be free education. It must not come disguised as a free education. The first step that you make to ensure that there's free education, we cannot be told that you have been studying from grade 1, not having paid a cent, and yet when you are in matric, you want to apply to VETS. VETS tells you that you need 300 rand just to pay for an application form. And when you pay for that 300 rand, you send the application form, they reject you. When they reject you, they don't give you a 300 rand back. You must find another 300 to apply to another university. When they reject you, they don't give you a 300 rand back. We are saying, Minister, there must be one application form in South Africa. We shouldn't be told to apply left, right, and center. When you have passed matric and you want to study chemical engineering, you must fill in one form. Attached to that form, you fill in the NSFAS form. It must be processed centrally. Where there is space in Free State, you must be sent to Free State. Where there is space in Limpopo, you must be sent to Limpopo. Where there is space in Eastern Cape, you must go to Eastern Cape. We must not be told that you have applied in VETS, you wait until January, then VETS tells you that there's no space. By that time, they tell you that all other universities don't have space. We want a single education system in this country. And that particular education system must stop putting black people outside. Because matric exams, they are all written in one paper. Yet high schools are not in the same level. You've got high schools where there's air-conditioned classrooms, where there is smart classrooms. At the same time, you've got high schools where people are standing under the trees. And you want to measure the two the same. You are saying to the two of them, the one who studied under the tree and the one who studied in an air-conditioned classroom, that they must be judged the same. If the one in the rural area says, I want to be a doctor, and the one in a leafy suburb of Johannesburg wants to be a doctor, you want to do the application the same. We are saying those application standards and requirements must take into account that the high schools are not the same. Because those requirements are used to keep black students outside of the universities. But what we are saying to you today, young people, when you pass matric, when you are in matric this year, when you pass matric, you must know that this government is saying to you, go to a university of your choice, study a course of your choice. When you finish studying that course, one of the biggest challenges that we're faced with as young people today is that we are told we must go and acquire an education. We must go and acquire a skill. We go and acquire an education. We go and acquire a skill. But when we come out, we are told that we cannot get jobs because we need 5 years experience. We need 10 years experience. Where are we supposed to take that particular experience? You cannot say that a 21-year-old graduate must have 5 years experience because you are saying that graduate must start working at the age of 16. You come with other jobs, you say 10 years experience. If you are 22 years old and a job wants 10 years experience, it means you must have started working at the age of 12. We are saying all entry-level jobs in this country, experience must be removed, and experience has been removed. Last year, when we stood here, we said we will remove experience. Today, as we stand here, experience has been removed. Now we know we come from elections. Nah? So we say the nice things during elections. Now elections are finished. We don't want to see a post of a receptionist being told that you need 5 years experience. All you need is to know how to answer a phone and transfer the phone to the next office. That's what you need. We cannot be told that a department wants drivers here and there's a lot of cars. They say to you, you must have 5 years experience as a driver. No. You only need a driver's license. And by the way, young people, we want to say to you, your days of unemployment are coming to an end. The fight against unemployment is a fight that is before us, is a fight that we are seized with, is a fight that we are going to defeat. This is how we are going to defeat it. From tomorrow, Nyambose, when we open newspapers and we're looking for jobs, we don't want to see that thing called experience. If we see it, we are going to ignore it. If we are qualified for that job, we are going to apply for that job. If you don't call us to an interview, don't worry. We are going to wake up, we are going to take a shower, we are going to go to the job interview. When we arrive there, we are going to say, you forgot to call me. I've got a qualification here. You have forgot to call me. So I brought myself here for this particular job. And if they tell you that you are not on the list, don't worry. Tell them, interview these ones and finish. When you are finished, I'm coming in and they must be interviewed. And when they finish interviewing you, they always ask you, do you have a question for the panel? You must just say, no, not a lot. When am I starting? Program director, we have gathered to celebrate the start of the commemoration of Youth Month. This year, our theme is 25 years of democracy, a celebration of youth activism. This is why I started with a reflection on the importance of celebrating young people. We are very happy, Minister, that when we started as this board of the NYDA, we said we are going to put the issue of youth representation at the center of our agenda. When we started, we said that we cannot have institutions of government that do not reflect the demographics of our country. You cannot sit with a parliament that resembles an old age home. The youngest person sitting there is 60 years, is 70 years old, spending 90% of the day sleeping in parliament. We said as young people, we want to be part of the decision making in this country. We said that in this election, we are going to have young people in that parliament. We are happy to report today that the youngest member of parliament is 20 years old and have entered that particular parliament. We are very happy to see Comrade Mbali coming here to speak. Comrade Mbali is a youth activist. And by the way, Comrade Mbali has that face that we need in government. This is the type of faces that we need in government. But we want to say and applaud the government. We want to applaud Cyril Ramaphosa, President Ramaphosa, for including young people. The Minister of Justice and Correctional Service is led by a 35-year-old. Even the Deputy Chairperson of the NYDA, our own NYDA, is now a Deputy Minister of Minerals and Energy. And we even have 2 other board members who are now part of Parliament, which means, Nyambose, that NYDA is a university that produces graduates that can lead our government. The NYDA is a factory that produces fine products. You can see a person that did not go through the NYDA, even when they open their mouth, you can see Utakna Lutola. NYDA is where you start, is where you get manufactured. And we want to salute the government for listening to young people. But as we march forward, these are a few things that we are going to be doing this month. This year, we want to launch a compulsory national youth service program. Because government of South Africa is one of the few governments in the world where we don't have a compulsory national youth service program. The NYDA does have an NYS, but we work with Department of Arts and Culture, we work with various departments, but we think the time has come for us to have a compulsory national youth service program. On the 14th of June, Nyambos, we are going to bring South Africa to a standstill. Every single young person is going to be dressed in an overall, in a t-shirt. We are going to clean South Africa. We are going to make South Africa a beautiful place in one day. We are going to go all out and make sure that we are going to demonstrate the best features of a national youth service program. We are also going to call ministers. They must clean with us. They must paint with us. They must renew South Africa with us. After the 14th of June, you are going to see a South Africa that we as young people envisage. So, on that particular day, we are going to do that. But also, we said that we are going to open new offices. We said we want NYDA to be where young people are. Because NYDA tends to be very far from young people. In some cases, for instance, in the Eastern Cape, people have to travel 300, 400 kilometers just to access an office of the NYDA. We want to say, I can see there are people from Eastern Cape here, that today we are going to open offices of the NYDA in the Eastern Cape. We are coming to Mthatha to open the OR Tambo office on the 24th of June. KZN, we are coming to Mhlabuya Lingana on the 21st of June. We are coming to open the NYDA office. Western Cape, Central Karoo in Bayfort West, we are coming to open the NYDA office. Western Cape in George, we are coming to open the NYDA office. Tomorrow, Ekurhuleni, we are opening a brand new office of the NYDA. Because people of Ekurhuleni shouldn't travel all the way to Maponya, shouldn't travel all the way to the center of Johannesburg just to get an office of the NYDA. But all in all, Minister, from the 9th to the 14th, we are going to work with the Department of Correctional Service. We are going to go to young offenders who are arrested. We are going to go and train those young offenders as entrepreneurs. We are going to train those young offenders and give them skills so that those young offenders, when they come out of the correctional facility, they are able to contribute to a betterment of society. Because we can't have offenders and we throw our hands away. They must be integrated back into the community. But on top of that, we want to say to the offenders that they must contribute to the betterment of society as a give back to society. There's one offender, minister, one offender. This offender got a parole. Ne? As the NYDA, we welcomed this offender. We even gave the offender a platform to go and speak and inspire young people. A very good offender. But the problem is that this offender seems to have forgotten his parole conditions. Because this offender is running a TV show that may destroy the social cohesion of our country. When we said the offender must come out, we did not mean that the offender must divide South Africa. The offender found South Africa united. Can the offender stay away with these cameras and continue to inspire young people? Those cameras are going to divide us. In conclusion, Minister of Women, Youth, and People Living with Disabilities, as you take over as our principal, we want to say to you, ma'am, we have turned the NYDA around. NYDA celebrates 10 years this year. When the NYDA started, people had a lot of things to say about the NYDA. At some point, when you type NYDA on Google, the first thing that came out was something called Kissing Festival, was something called corruption. At some point, we were told that the NYDA is one of the most corrupt institutions of government. 10 years later, the NYDA is one of the best run institutions of government. Because the NYDA today, Minister, as we're giving over, the NYDA has got 5 clean audits, one after another. The NYDA has met 100% of its key performance areas. The NYDA, just in the last 12 months, we've been able to give over 1,103 young people with brand new business funding. Many of them are these ones that are outside here. The NYDA has been able to open job opportunities for over 25,000 young people through our job placement program. The NYDA has been able to produce 10,000 jobs through this particular grant program. Nimzwile Losisi, when she was talking here, she said that I'm employing other young people and I brought them here. So the only humble request we're having, Minister, is that for the next 10 years, we are really asking government to support the NYDA. Government must fund the NYDA. You can't give the NYDA 430 million. When there's 19 million young people in this country, when you take 430 and you divide it by 19 million, it means you are spending 20 rands per young person per annum. That cannot be acceptable. Young people say, when they complain about NYDA, they are not saying NYDA is not doing anything. They are simply saying, NYDA has not arrived to me. The NYDA is taking time to get to me. The reason why we are taking time to get to you is because we have funding constraints. We have fundraised our own money through the CEO. We have been able to fundraise over 100 million on our own. Now, that money has been finished. Minister, we're asking at least 1 billion, not a lot. We have shown that we can look after the money. We are no longer playing spin the bottle. We are no longer doing all those particular things. Just give us 1 billion and let us lead youth development. With those few words, we officially welcome Youth Month 2019. Thank you.
Roar, young lions, roar. Siyabonga to the National Chairperson of the NYDA. Just to clarify 2 things. One, if you listen to what he's saying, he's actually saying to the young people in this, in this room and throughout the country, please, young people, don't ask what the country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country as well. That's what he's saying. But secondly, as he says, wake up in the morning, take that shower, you go for that interview. It also says, have that certificate. Go to school. Have qualifications. Because it's not going to help you to take that shower and go for that interview without those qualifications. That shower must follow a certificate. So please don't wake up and do that shower without a certificate. Please, man. Please, man. That shower must actually happen with a certificate in hand. Hambani niyokufunda and take that shower. Iyavakala?
Shoo. Enkosi ma. Next we have poetry in motion by Mlamli Molayisi. So please, ngicela mshayine izandla aze la phambili.
One man from the bar. Okay. Aha. One man from the bar. Two men from the bar. Okay. Aha. Three men from the bar. Okay. Aha. One man, two men, three men from the bar. Four men from the bar. Five men from the bar. Okay. Choir. From the bar. Six men from the bar. Okay. One man, two men, three men, four men, five men, six men from the bar. Seven men from the bar. Okay. One man, two men, three men, four men, five men, six men, seven men from the bar. Eight men from the bar. One man, two men, three men, four men, five men, six men, seven men, eight men from the bar. Nine men from the bar. One man, two men, three men, four men, five men, six men, seven men, eight men, nine men from the bar. 10 men from the bar. One man, two men, three men, four men, five men, six men, seven men, eight men, nine men, 10 men from the bar. All men from the bar. All men from the bar. Fill up the table.
Sanbonan. Ne right? We go by the name of Art 24 Academy. And we believe, without being long, let the poetry speak for itself. But it's about finding the rebellious child and giving them an activity. That's all there is to it. So I was listening to our leaders. I was listening very well. And we also believe that it's about finding the rebellious child and giving them an activity. Because I too was rebellious. Igama ndingumlamli, and I was born to be a peacemaker. Sigelela. Onendlebe uzosilalela, onolwazi uzosihlalisela. Onendlebe uzosilalela, onolwazi uzosihlalisela. Onendlebe uzosilalela, onolwazi uzosihlalisela.
Yes. Nkosi sikelele Afrika. 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 Now, isn't it ironic that stop signs promote abortions? Penis enlargement on danger boxes. Pleasure, fun with no measure. Mothers and our daughters, young girls and young women, and our mothers, brothers, and our uncles, not even enough time to learn those titles. But it's so ironic that stop signs promote abortions, penis enlargement on danger boxes, pleasure, fun with no measure. See, I begged her to act like someone's mother. See, I too come from a broken home. A young boy with no father in need of a male figure. Someone to call dad, papa, or whatever it is they want to call him. Someone to give me a blueprint into manhood and teach me how to love. My first direction was taboo. My mother couldn't talk openly about it. It left me all sad and confused. Later the pain turned into pleasure. I recreated the brokenness. I got women pregnant and suddenly everything was a mess. But I begged them to act like someone's mother, teach my baby girl one love. I later give her a brother from the same father, give her that masculine love so she doesn't make all these broken men homes. So you can't be a mother and fly by night. We all know what happens at night. The devil takes flight. Mundomnyama uyazicindezela ngoba ungafuni ukusebenzela ebafethu. Asekele ugovernment asolokhu lutho empilweni. Thatha umshanyelo ukline egcekeni. Sesajwayela ukuhlala egangeni. Yizo lezandla ezihamba ziyokline edrobheni. Mundomnyama uyazicindezela ngoba ungafuni ukusebenzela ebafethu. Asekele ugovernment asolokhu lutho empilweni. Thatha umshanyelo ukline egcekeni. Sesajwayela ukuhlala egangeni. Yizo lezandla ezihamba ziyokline edrobheni. See, when we were kids, Minister, we were bad kids. Because we were never dad's kids. It's 21 years since Daddy left, yet I see him every day. He thinks with my mind, sees with my eyes. I partake in actions, make my mother rebuke in reincarnation. The first time I was taught to love, I listened. The first time I fell in love, I misunderstood it. It starts with two bodies and a chord. My mother stopped breathing until she heard my first vocal cord. I wish it was compulsory for all men to be there in labor and know not to feel the pain, because my dad wouldn't do it even if he was sober. Uyazi mama magezalo keep it calm. Mama magezalo Philippine engalunganga kodwa still uziphi isandla nyawo bemafika endlini uyathatha. Igama ndingumlamli and I was born to be a peacemaker. At 24 Academy we aim to be game changers.
We just respect the program. So we'll just do one more conversation and a short skit of entertainment just to leave with not so heavy energies. Siyavumelana? Say right? Say right? Okay. On that level, the next song is called Lihaulame. Enjoy. after death. I believe in life after death. Visions in my dreams predict that, which later occur in my life as deja vu. My own experiences speak to that. They say sleep is for dead people, so you live in death. Every time you close your pupil, when the nature of being is ready to. When I hit the truth in our live, in the psychological spirits, not only in our mind, but more biological. My mother feels it in her abdominal, and dropping a trance into a dream to predict your future. Our dreams are the future success in the bigger picture. It is that morning pray, it helps me meditate. With no gravity, I can elevate, taking me to a higher place where I converse with the Most High. Yes, He speaks through me. He gave me a pen, mama, that could spit tons of paper so I could write rhymes. You want to know what poetry is? Then listen. Listen to the words that God is reciting. Sure. Till I Jehovah la fela when I'm duty, who shake the fela. Me far till I Jehovah la fela when I'm duty, who shake the fela. My peers have been held captive by street corners. A beer and a joint gets them through the day. Mama Azania is a mess. Mama Azania is like a little girl with a stepfather who continuously rapes her. Baba musuta tumdano menzu mama Baba musuta tumdano menzu mama Baba musuta tumdano menzu mama Let's go to the level. We are about Maxine about Billion Baba musuta tumdano menzu mama. The Father la Jehovah la fela when I do till she be the fela. The Father la Jehovah la fela when I do till she be the fela. Onenhlebe uzosilalela onolwazi uzosihlasela. Baba Azania is a mess. Prepare for more. Our 24 Academy, we aim to be game changers. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Lambi and your team. Sibambile. One day we are banda, one day we are chisa, one day we are banda. Please, man, this is be the same, man. One day we are banda, one day we are chisa. Problem, can we be the same? Sime uniform, just I just changing that Susan was not understanding. Thank you very much for that. And I was worried a bit when they were singing the first song. I was asking to my program director, what are they saying? 1, 2, 3 men coming out of the bar. Did the bar coming to the table? So I realized what they are saying is that it's time to come to the table and do something for yourself. And make sure that young people must stop abusing alcohol. You are actually wasting time sitting in those places drinking alcohol when you can actually do something about your life. The last part is that as they were leaving, I was reading the t-shirts that they were wearing. It says, Minister Mthethwa, bringing you art in 24 hours. So I thought, let me bring you the Minister of Art, to Sports, Arts and Culture, to come and give message of support, but I'm not bringing him in 24 hours, I'm bringing him in seconds.
Thank you very much. Sanibona Dumelang. I'm here to give a message of support on this initiative of June 16. Just reflecting where we come from, 2019 is the year of which is coinciding with a lot of things. Firstly, I want to say to the people of this ward, is it 39? Ward 39, you have a councillor who you've misdeployed. You have an artist here. I think next time when you think of reshuffling councillors and changing deployments, you know that you have an artist here with us. Thanks, Comrade Msibi, for that. And thanks to the groups which came here, the first one, and Mlamli and the team here. But Mlamli taught us a thing or two. In fact, he taught the deputy minister, Hui Dibala. And it was difficult for her to catch up with Mlamli. Let me start by saying that following from what Sifiso, having acknowledged the leadership here, the chairperson of NYDA said that this memorial site was opened by Tata Nelson Mandela. I'm not mistaken, it was 93 when he opened it. It was an initiative of the ANC Youth League of the time, under the leadership of Killerman, Peter Ramshwana Mkapa. I'm mentioning this because had he lived, Peter Mkapa would have been 60 years old this year. That vision of galvanizing support and leaving something here for generations to come, together with his team of leadership, is something the youth of today should be thinking deeply about. that we should always remember who we are and where we come from. Acknowledge those who came before us, because we are in a space which has been traveled before by others. But it's important just to say that this booklet has been distributed. I think all of us have it. The passport of patriotism. Any nation has its pride on its identity. If you are part of any nation and you don't know your identity, then we have a big problem. We need to know who we are, where we come from, so that we will visualize the future where we're off to. Many a times I hear people singing the national anthem, which is more of something like a prayer of the nation, like a unifier of the nation in thoughts, and butchering the national anthem. Now I know that from today people who are here would know the national anthem. They would also know the AU anthem. So that, as it has been said here, we don't have three people singing the AU anthem, because we are South Africans, we are part of the continent Africa. The time has to come where we disabuse ourselves from not being part of Africa. That when we visit other countries elsewhere on the continent, you say, last week, Besiyodlale Africa. We visited somewhere Africa. We are part of Africa. But when the national anthem is sung, look at any nation, look at the pride with which they sing their national anthem. And they understand the protocol. Any time, all of us, when we sing the national anthem, it's there, you'll find it here. We must all stand in attention. Others will do this. Some will put their hands here, and so on and so forth. We stand in attention. Somebody who's going to put his hand here would be the head of state, the president of the country, when he's acknowledging the presence of the army on the police, and so on and so forth. But all of us, I know today that we have learned a thing or two, and we are going to learn more in what is here. But taking us back in time, that the 27th of April 1994 was a mammoth task to reach. It took generations and generations of South Africans to reach there. Our freedom was not free. Our freedom was born out of sacrifice, of blood, of our people, of tears and pain, of sacrifice. Just 2 years or a year before Madiba was born, when was he born? 1918? Just short of a year, in 1819, it's almost 100 years before he was born. Someone was sent to Robben Island, was arrested to Robben Island. Makhanda Ganxele, from the Eastern Cape, in the place which was wrongly named Grahamstown, terribly named Grahamstown. So this Makhanda Ganxele, a warrior, a Xhosa warrior, led his people in the war, in the battle called Impi Yasegazini. He fought there. When he saw that his people were being defeated by the whites, the colonizers, he sacrificed himself. So they took him to Robben Island and they arrested him. He died later on when he tried to swim out of that Robben Island. But our erstwhile colonizers called that place Grahamstown. They named it under a person called Colonel John Graham, the most vicious, the most violent of colonizers, who will track down Amaxhosa in that part of the country, kill them, women, children, men alike, who made them to bow before him, and he killed them. He butchered them, to be specific. He made it a point that he destroys everything, their property, everything, so that he applied the scorched earth policy. But then we had a place named after him. And we said, no, it was fine under apartheid, but not under democracy. So the place now is Makhanda Ganxele. It's correctly named for somebody who fought for this freedom. That war is turning 200 this year. That is why the Freedom Day, we had it in that place. One father of communism who worked with Karl Marx, Friedrich Engels, once observed 140 years ago, he observed a war, a battle, the Battle of Isandlwana, Impi yaseSandlwana, in 1879. He commented after that battle, and he said the British Army has never been defeated by the mightiest of armies in Europe. But Amabutho kaZulu defeated the British Army in 1879, which is turning 140 years this year. We've got to understand how painful it was to reach the 27th of April, 1994. It wasn't given to us on a silver platter. But the governing party today had to plan for the eventuality, which was the 27th of April 1994. 50 years ago, it came up with something called the Strategy and Tactics in 1969 in Tanzania, in Morogoro, where it planned how to ensure that we defeat apartheid in South Africa. So it wasn't an accident that we reached 1994. The chairperson of the NYDA has raised the issue about Solomon Mahlangu. But the reason why we are here, it's because of the generation of Solomon Mahlangu. The reason why we are here is because of the brutality, which was like Colonel Graham meted against our people by the Nationalist Party government, who killed and maimed very young people, including Hector Pieterson. 13-year-old children. They killed children to be where we are today. So people suffered. And because they killed children around that time, around the 1976 uprisings, Solomon Mahlangu decided to go and take up arms to defend his people. In fact, the chairperson of NYDA didn't put it as Solomon put it, kumawake, umamumata. When Mama was crying because the following day his son was going to be hanged, a 22-year-old. And he said, Wena Mama musukhala phambi kwalezinja, zamabhunu, because they are going to celebrate that we are crying. I'm not afraid of death. I'm dying for my people. We need a Solomon of today. A Solomon Mahlangu of today who is going to ensure that that blood of Solomon nourishes the tree of freedom by ensuring that you grab the opportunities which are there. Mzazi here is one example. The lady who came here is another example. There are opportunities which need to be exploited and taken advantage of from government and in all the sectors of government. Perhaps at this point I must suggest to the NYDA that perhaps going forward, as we converge here every year around this time, we should perhaps change the format and have a conversation amongst ourselves. Because it's easy for people today to blame the previous generations when we do not understand the complexities people went through. It's easy for the older generation to blame the youth that when we were young, we did ABC. The material conditions are not the same. We need to read them and read them properly so that we apply correct tools of analysis in us heading to action in what is to be done. So the youth of yesteryear were concerned about the system. The system was a problem. The system which taught us to be servants. The system which said to us, we cannot rise to any position, no matter what capacity we have. Today people say, no, this government can't tell me I made it because I'm qualified for that. Many people were qualified in the past, but the statute books of this country hindered progress amongst our people. Today, as we take advantage, we should know that it has been a deliberate decision by the government to ensure that we open up opportunities for our people. Unemployment is what we have to tackle, is what we committed to ourselves, and we continue to do that. The scrapping of the experiences, the president accepted your views, your proposals as youth are one of them. But we also need innovation from youth. We need the paradigm change. If our forebears and ourselves grew up saying, we want to be employed by somebody else, is it not time that we have a paradigm to say that we want to sell our ideas so that through them we'll survive as a generation, not looking around for somebody to employ us? So we've got to understand the challenges of the day and see what arts and culture, what sport has, what all other departments have for us to exploit. There are many young people who are living through their skills and talent. And one of them is Caster Semenya. And Caster Semenya today is facing challenges of bigotry, challenges of racism, challenges of white supremacy. We will fight this fight because what she's experiencing is not the first time. Sarki Bartman was taken out of South Africa and was made an exhibition where people will come like you go to the zoo and watch a human being as an exhibition. There is one author and poet, Sifiso Mtsweni. He wrote a book, The Zulus of New York. That book is more or less the same of what was visited by the West to Sarki Partman, or you know her as Sarah Partman. And we are saying no to what they want to do to Caster Semenya. Just the day after I was given an additional task of sport, we had to quickly appeal what the IAAF has resolved on Caster Semenya. And I'm happy that yesterday the Swiss court suspended that so Caster can still do her work, what she does best. And we're saying to our young people, if people like Caster can reach the peak point where she is, why can't we do it ourselves? There are many other Casters around us here, and we can do it. Let us ensure that we deepen the conversation in our society so that the qualified and unemployed graduates phenomenon is dealt with in South Africa, so that those who are able to further their studies are able to be given the chance to do that through what government has done in terms of bursaries and so on. But what I started with, so few people know who we are and where we come from. That is why, as government last year, we decided that it is time that history becomes compulsory amongst our kids. Proper history. Not that history, the distorted one, where you were told that during the Eastern Frontier Wars, for instance, Amaxhosa were attacked and they fled, they ran away. When Chelmsford's army, Esandlwana, was defeated, they said Chelmsford and his team retreated strategically. Now, that propaganda and the time for that propaganda is over. Now, history is going to be taught. Now, Swahili is going to be taught so that we are able to connect with our brothers and sisters all over the continent. That is why the Department of Arts and Culture, in line with what the United Nations has declared this year as the year for the indigenous languages, in almost all the universities we have, VETS, UJ, UCT, UKZN, and so on and so forth, arts and culture gives bursaries to 400 plus students for indigenous languages, that our languages are ourselves. We should avoid what Brahu used to say. He used to say that our kids and their kids will reach a point where they say, our parents used to be or used to speak Sotho, Sesotho, or they used to speak isiZulu, and so on. We need, China is the second biggest economy in the world today, and they've developed their language. They are trading using their language. In fact, in a few years' time, it's going to overtake the number one economy in the world, which is US. And therefore, developing our languages becomes important because it means that we'll be aligning ourselves with the world. In those few words, I'm saying we support the program led by NYDA. Thank you very much.
Nyambose. Siyabonga kakhulu. Thank you to the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture. I hope young people, you listened to what he is saying. He is actually putting a challenge unto yourself, and he says, as we move towards the next 25 years of our democracy, it becomes important that you become proud of who you are. And as you become proud of who you are, you need to know where you come from. And therefore, take interest and understand your history. Read as much as you can so that nobody can mislead you and actually take you out of your route and say this is the way to go because you are not sure, because you don't know your history. Hamba nofunda, nifunde, nazi, nokuba umakhanda kanxele ngubani and ebesukaphi. That's what he's saying, the minister. And at one point, because he is a wealth of information when it comes to history, we are expecting that the young people of this world, Emisimbali, will actually send an invite to the office and say, we need to have a round table and have a conversation with the minister on our history. That's what it needs to happen. Thank you very much. Over to him, Dana.
Thank you, Ma. Next on the program, we have a group who are going to perform a theatre play. I think they're somewhere here at the back. Could they please come forth and perform for us? Thank you.
If what we can do in the meantime, if they are not here, are they here? We don't have much time. Are they ready? Can you move faster? Hello, my babies. Are you the ones that are gonna do the play? Oh. Okay. Can you give them a round of applause? Come up to the stage. Abantwana bayanisaba man. Please. How? Kanti yini indaba yenu? Kuzani bantwana bami, kuzani. That's it. Ni right? Ningabi na worry nani. Khona apha ndingumama wenu ne. Ningabikho nervous. Hello baby. Okay. Siyaxolisa uthisha wabo uthi babelapha ezantsi babazawudansa so bathi hey esi stage sincane for bona ningababoni nje ingathi bayasaba nizababona nini
When
remember, but we won't forget. We won't forget how the blood of our brothers and sisters who were shed for this democracy. We won't forget about what happened to Khotso Siatulo, who was killed by the Boers. We won't forget what happened in June 16, 1976, from Naledi High to Musi High, from Morris Isaacson High to Matsike High, where thousands of students were fighting and protesting against Afrikaans as a medium of instruction. Many students died. The likes of Hector Pieterson, just to mention him. We therefore say, we cannot forget. Aluta! Aluta!
We're charging heaven. Give us this day our daily bread.
Thy will be done as it is done in heaven. Hallowed.
Our Father,
Which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
our Father must be happy wherever He is. You kids are just beautiful. Jesus, just come down and listen to these voices. And did you hear that? Shit. Amen.
Wathinda thina, wathinda bangasokufa, safa saphenduka, saphenduka nje bovu.
Wathinda thina,
Wemodo,
wathinda
mole, mole, modo, modo bo.
Wathinda thina,
Wemodo,
wathinda
mole, modo, modo, mole, modo, le modo, mole, mole, mo. Gonyane ganda, awe 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 awe